there's 800,000 people in a fourth branch of government in the United States who are fighting the info wars, who have allegiances with the information technology firms in America, including Google. Okay, this is now out in the Washington Post. The war is on. The battle lines have been drawn. The tyranny is here.
Well, I agree. We've seen massive increases. 73,000 blogs taken down last week. No court order, no nothing. Justice Department just ordered it, saying they didn't like their speech because they were talking about sharing files and talking about stuff online. Now your speech is illegal. We're seeing other sites being hacked. They've tried to take down the Alex Jones channel with hacks last week. And Dave, who runs it, hadn't even told me that. When I called him Saturday, he said, yeah, they're trying it here too. So it looks like the green light was given in the last week or two, Max, to launch a major cyber attack against us and everybody else for that matter.
Well, the computers are programmed, and your film hit a traffic anomaly. It started to go in the direction that the computers couldn't figure out why, because it didn't fit into any of their template logic. And so they shut down or dismantled or hacked or took it offline. And this is what they're programmed to do.
Stay there, because that's what Obama says. I've got to shut the web down to save it. They mean their globalist web. They always speak in triple meanings. And so you've got to know their fail-safes built in to shut down things on the web when everything goes to hell in a handbasket. This is a cybersecurity takeover kill switch test. Well, I hope Max Keiser's right. This is just a computer glitch at Google. But here's the Washington Post, a 2-year report admitting Google is top of the heap, NSA. What did that CIA technology officer retired, Mr. Steele? What was his first name? We had him on a few times. He said he named NQTel, he named MIT, and everything he said, 5 years ago, and then again 4 years ago, he came on twice. He said he got so much heat, he wasn't going to come on after that. He told us that on the phone. I think he got some threats, but he wouldn't say that. He just said, look, I can't. I like what you're doing, but it got too heavy. He was the first person I ever said who said, look, they're not influenced by the CIA and NSA. He said, Alex, they are. They are. They are. And he said, check out this doctor's name, that doctor's name. It was MIT, it was NSA, these doctors of technology, these gurus, and they're literally taking over the whole planet with this. And people say, well, why are you on Google and YouTube? That's the war. That's the Internet. We don't give up landscape here. We're going back to Kenneth Webb. Keiser with us on the economy and your phone calls going into the next hour in overdrive. MaxKeiser.com, his great YouTube channel. Stunning information. MaxKeiser.com. Max, do you think my analysis is accurate, or do you have anything to add to that?
I wouldn't say it's a computer glitch. In other words, it's like you were at the playing 21 in Las Vegas, and you started to win too many hands. The eye in the sky picks it up, and then you get a visit from the pit boss. So there's no way you can beat the house. Now, your video started to impinge on Obama's team and their ability to control the propaganda wars and the info wars. So you're getting a visit from the equivalent of the pit boss in the virtual world. They need to remove you from the table because you're winning too many hands. And this computer picks that up. That's why I call it the casino gulag, because a lot of the technology used to keep people in line is the same as a casino. They know how to incentivize you to keep you gambling, but they know how to discipline you from winning too much. And they also keep you unemployed and low wages, so you're there in the gulag. So you, Alex Jones, were winning too many views with this video, and you got a visit from the virtual pit boss who had to shut you down because you're winning too many hands. It's a casino gulag.
And now we're pointing out that the house is fixed, so they're backing off because it's revealing who they really are.
Well, it's not necessarily fixed per se. It's that the human being is easily manipulated, and they manipulate the humans. You see, the point of starting a country like America to begin with was to try to tease out the greatest parts of humanity to create something that's better and bigger than the sum of its parts. But now that you've got bankers in control, they're breaking it down so it's less than the sum of its parts, and it's just a bunch of greedy people trying to win off of each other in a less than zero outcome.
And the bankers can set the rules so they game everything, and they get the world out of fiat currency. They just make up out of nothing. As Thomas Jefferson said, they were facing it then. He said, if you let private banks issue currency and credit, your children will wake up homeless on the continent their forefathers conquered.
It doesn't have to be rigged. It just has to be marginally successful and get the majority of people to give up their self-respect, and you end up with a casino gulag. And you've now had a direct interaction with the pit boss in the virtual world who's come over to you and said, sorry, you're winning too many hands, you're getting too many views, you're co-opting the word Obama, which needs to be associated only with the word hope. We cannot tolerate the word Obama to be associated with the word deception. That's intolerable. It cannot happen, and we'll do whatever it takes. We'll stick our computer algorithms on you. They'll do all the dirty work, and I'm sorry, but that's just the way it is. You have to leave the casino now.
I'm so glad we had Max Keiser on today, because he just brought out, because he's an inventor of a major stock exchange system and very intelligent and understands this, and everything he's talked about in the last few years, it's just so crystal clear how right he was. And he brought out issues here today that I didn't see or understand. I'm just in here toe-to-toe going at them, and my listeners are, and we're kicking their butt. We're going to go into the 4th hour live. Stay with us. We'll be right back. I wanted to bring that point up. Did you see the Financial Times of London with Robert Shapiro, the top advisor to Clinton, advising Obama that he needs an Oklahoma City or 9/11 attack so the public, quote, sees him as strong, and that's, quote, the only way he's going to win the midterm elections? I mean, these guys are 1 inch away from admitting stage terror.
Sure. But before, just one quick note. Just a couple of weeks ago, Alex, remember that on Facebook, after the BP oil disaster, more than 800,000 people joined a boycott, and then Facebook decided to delete that boycott. And that's exactly the kind of thing that we just saw in your case. So this is enormous power given to these sites, and they are destroying the ability for people to express themselves politically. 800,000 people were going to join the BP boycott, and Facebook simply said, well, we just deleted it because we didn't think it was in the interest of our associates.
And meanwhile, the founder of Facebook calls his, I can't quote it, it's cuss words, calls his users dumb effers because they trust him, and he sits around giggling, calling them scum and filth.
Well, it's 500 million people now on Facebook. It's the basis for this casino gulag. So in other words, going forward, the people who joined the BP boycott would be awarded debit that they can only work off by virtual slave technique, by working off the credits by viewing on ads. And the people who didn't join the BP boycott would be awarded virtual credits.
Meanwhile, he's laughing at you. Facebook's literally part of the NSA, CIA, and he's just, look at these scum. I rule these stupid, pathetic filth because they trust me. Stop trusting them. Max Keiser, stay there, my friend. We'll come back. Stay with us. Max, I want to briefly get into 2 big issues, and then to Al, Joe, BJ, Steve, and Matt, at least those callers with you today. And that's this. Your take on Goldman Sachs stealing billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars on record, having all the major federal regulators, their own internal emails saying this is pure bleeping garbage, but we're going to sell it to people, ha, 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 while they were betting against it. And the Congress and the Federal Trade Commission said, no wrongdoing, you got to pay a $500 million fine, a fraction of the money they stole. And now we see the Financial Reform Act, which gives the very same banks more power over the entire economy. This is amazing. Give us your take on that.
Well, I'll talk about the Financial Reform Act in a second, but this is an interesting headline. Europe freezes out Goldman Sachs, shocked by past deals with Italy and Greece. Governments are excluding Goldman Sachs from their sovereign bond sales. So the European banks, especially in Greece and Italy, where Goldman cooked the books of these countries to allow them to enter the euro. And then subsequently, when they couldn't make the payments, they attacked them with naked short sales and other forms of financial terrorism to profit on their demise and their misery and the people's austerity. They're now kicked Goldman out. Exactly what I said in a video that's got over 400,000 views on YouTube, where I recommended that the Greek government kick Goldman Sachs out of their country. This is exactly what they did. They kicked Goldman Sachs. Greece has kicked Goldman Sachs out. Italy is kicking Goldman Sachs out. So the Europeans are not taking this financial terrorism anymore, and they've drawn a line in the sand, and they said no more financial terrorism, no more Goldman Sachs. Do all your dirty dealings, your crooked accounting, your naked short selling, your high-frequency trading, and you keep it there in the United States, where you've got friends in Washington who don't care how much misery and austerity you wreak upon the American economy. Now, on the financial reform bill, as you know, I've been fighting against box office futures contracts, and they have outlawed box office futures contracts because of the Keiser Report show, my appearances on your show, the MPAA, and Blanche Lincoln. We have defeated box office futures trading. So the one industry in America that's still made in America, Hollywood films, is being saved from financial terrorists at Cantor Fitzgerald, the new Cantor Exchange, and another company called Trend Exchange. So we have made these box office futures contracts illegal. This was a campaign that I've been doing for 6 months, and I know all the players. I was able to get into the internal forces that were shaping this legislation, and we struck a blow to the financial terrorist industry.
Well, let me go back to the first point, though, and back you up.